Alright, so listen, I can't draw hands to save my life. I have tried, I have trained, but not hard enough. The excuse that I like to give is that I'm a 3D artist now, but the real truth is because I didn't feel like drawing perspective in 2D. I just couldn't bother with that. I'll let the computer handle that. Part of the reason why I'm having fun and interested in 2D again is because it's not how I make my living. Like, as soon as the pressure is off, it's like, oh wait, I don't care if I'm not good at this or not. I can just say it. I'm not good at drawing hands. And brother, trust me, I need as much help as I can get. And so as soon as I saw this on the Labyrinth bookstore here in Toronto, I knew that I had to have this. Today we're gonna be taking a look at Kotobukiya's artist support item hand modeled gray. It is a very expressive, posable hand, and it's crazy because even though we all have two hands, hopefully, it's still actually easier to just draw from someone else's hand. And I bet you any artist who's like learning to draw at school or whatever, they're gonna want something like this for reference because this is hella cool. So here's my review, let's take a look. To accompany this hand model, I also thought it'd be a good idea to supplement with the How to Draw Hands book by Takahiro Kagami. And unbeknownst to me, it was the same artist behind both products. Very cool. Hand model R. I love how in other parts of the world they take art so seriously. Like, this is something that, you know, a group of people put effort into designing, inventing, and manufacturing. In the West, we don't have people that care enough about art to do this, it seems. I'm sure there are people, but it's just not a priority for them. Whereas in other places in the world, like, they're the ones that make this cool stuff. Inside the box, you'll find the hand, the base, and 4 supports to attach it to, as well as a quick manual on how to use it. Pretty early on, I could tell that my only complaint with this model was the durability, like the actual strength of the material that it's made with. It's very light, but not like brittle, not like a brittle 3D print. Like, it's definitely 3D printed, but the material is not too bad. The sculpt itself is beautiful. It was supervised by Takahiro Kagami, but it was sculpted by Tsukuru Shirohige, and it feels very much like an idealistic, beautiful anime hand. Setting it up is super easy. You just put in a couple sticks, like a popsicle stick, and you're done. The hand itself is pre-built, no assembly required. The shorter supports are if you want the hand to be posed vertically, and the longer supports or the taller supports are for supination and pronation of the hand. I did make the early mistake of trying to rotate the wrist. Do not do that, it is not meant to. I thought it was because it had this little slot and a little peg, but I think that was just the printing support. Overall, the articulation is very good. It's strong enough to support the pose of the fingers and the movement, while also being malleable enough to pose. My only concern would be over time, I wonder how the joints will hold up if they deteriorate, if they'll start to get some sliding and suddenly the hand won't be able to hold its shape. But I think for now, since it's brand new, obviously, it's working really nicely. I think the most impressive feature of this whole thing is actually the posable thumb, because you can get hand mannequins that, you know, you can wiggle around the fingers, but it's really that thumb, the adduction and abduction movement is really unique. And also the expansion and compression of the palm itself, that kind of spreading, makes it feel like the palm can breathe, you know, expand and contract. That's unique. That's what makes it feel dynamic. I love how this feels like I'm playing with the 3D character model rig, but in real life. Just for a little fun, I decided to do a little experiment where I tried to recreate the promotion photos for this hand, and I was surprised how accurately I was able to reproduce the poses that the promo photos have. So they're delivering to you the product just as they advertise it. It's actually very impressive, and in my book, I actually kind of gained some respect for it. While playing with the model and trying to get it into these various poses, I actually realized, you know, how much flexibility you have in expressing with this hand. It's incredible. Guys, I know this is my video and like I'm not supposed to comment on my work and break the fourth wall, but like, what a sick shot and what a sick, like, this just looks cool, all right? I don't even care what this video is about anymore. This just looks amazing. Look at the gesture in those fingertips, man. It's like it's like this hand model is casting a spell, all right? And my impression of this product has skyrocketed after seeing the full range of motion that it's capable of. The other cool thing I discovered was that I was wrong. You can flex the wrist. you can get a pretty decent flexion and extension, further adding to the gesture of the pose. I also got a better sense of how to use the little sticks at the back. You can use the various holes to create different angles of the wrist. Like if you want your hand to tilt in order to hold the stylus, you have to kind of use slightly different holes than you normally would. Holding the stylus was probably one of the hardest poses to hit. The pen kept dropping out. But the actual hardest one was trying to get the card. The card was really difficult. In fact, I would say I was not successful in recreating the card pose. Maybe they cheated with like a little bit of tape, but it was pretty hard to create enough tension between those fingers to create enough grip. So quite honestly, after using it, I'm in awe of this hand model. Like I honestly think this is one of the greatest artist products that have ever been made for artists to get better at drawing. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. I'm so impressed by how kind of like lifelike it feels. Despite being plastic, despite having a limited range of motion, the poses that you can create have so much gesture and movement. And I think that's largely due to the sculpt. The sculpt is so beautiful. Like the fingertips are just stunning. I also didn't mention this, but it's the perfect size. Like it's just the right size to kind of manipulate and look at. It's not like too small that you can't see the details. You don't have to strain yourself. It's just a really comfortable working size. And really the thing I'm looking forward to with this is to practice foreshortening. I mean, the hardest part, again, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of drawing perspective, but the hardest part of drawing hands is the perspective and the foreshortening. And this is really going to help with that because as you turn the model, you know, the foreshortening of the phalanges changes, and that is essential in creating a believable dimensional hand. Do I think every artist needs this? Probably not, but I wish I'd had this when I was in school, 100%. I think that you guys like that are really focused on 2D stuff, man, this is an amazing reference prop. Actually, forget school. It's an amazing prop for all artists, honestly. It really is. I think it lives up to the hype. It was made exactly for people like me. I don't usually score things, but I'm gonna do it in this case because I think it'll help me kind of figure out where I think it lands. So I think sculpt, 10 out of 10. Beautiful sculpt, nothing wrong with it, absolutely fantastic. Articulation, 8 out of 10. I think it's good. I just am concerned. We'll have to see how it holds up over time. It is just like a 3D printed plastic. As you kind of use those joints, it's probably gonna wear down, probably get a little looser. We'll have to see, but I think an 8 out of 10 is about right for the overall articulation and how it feels and the quality. It's good, but I think there's like some room for improvement. I can imagine a version of this that was made with like better joints, better materials, that could be like a premium. So there is some room for improvement there. For ease of use, I think it's a 10 out of 10, easy to use, right out of the box. You can just pop that in and set it up. It's ready to go. Nothing, doesn't take anything. Cool factor, 10 out of 10. There's nothing out there like this. Like this is one of a kind. I think that's what makes it so special. Nothing compares to the passion that goes into art in Japan. Like they are just so incredible at making things that support artists, make artists' lives easier. They really appreciate the craft, and that passion comes through this product here. Like I think that only they could pull this off is what I'm trying to say. Durability, this keeps coming back, but I give this a 6 out of 10. It's not the worst. Like I might even be over exaggerating how brittle I think it is. Like it is durable enough. I just wish that it was a little stronger. 6 out of 10. And finally, value. I purchased this for about $200 Canadian, but that's because it's imported. I think that in its original run, it was being sold for just over $100 Canadian. And you'll find it anywhere from like probably 150 to 200 in that price range. So in terms of value, I think it is like a little on the pricey side. I think it could be a little cheaper. I would say about 120 would be probably about right for this. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I still think it is desirable to have as an artist if you are interested in 2D especially. So the combined score with all those different factors brings this to an 8.5 out of 10, which I think is actually about how I feel emotionally about it. I think that's accurate. So I've decided to revise my score. I'm just gonna say it's a 9 out of 10. And one bonus factor that I just want to mention that's not part of my rating, but is the love and care that went into this product. Everything from the packaging to the build to even just the purpose and what inspired the creation of this item is to help artists. Like this is a fantastic product. Like I'm thankful that this exists. Thanks to all the artists that push for things like this, because God knows here in the West, we are not making this cool stuff. So I'm excited guys to have something to practice with. I'm really looking forward to using this and trying and drawing this properly. And I also have this awesome book to go through, which I'm just going to show you a quick preview of what that looks like. It looks awesome as well. I got so much to learn. Always, every day, never stops. And in the next video, we're going to find out what's inside this box.